Scott Brown has just passed his 100-day mark in Washington, but he's already made plenty of news on Capitol Hill.
Our political reporter Alison King spent a few days with the senator. She joins us tonight with part 2 of her special series. Alison.
Well, Scott Brown really seems to have hit the ground running down in Washington. Much like he promised on the campaign trail, he is not one to be counted on for strictly voting the Republican Party line. And for those of you who are wondering, as I often get asked, does Scott Brown really drive that truck around Washington? The answer is yes. There it is, turning off Constitution Avenue, the famous green truck, Senator Scott Brown at the helm. He parks at a guarded lot across from the Capitol, one of his new prized perks. While many members of Congress let others do their driving, Brown likes to go it alone.
I just hate people driving for me. I feel like I'm driving with my kids. Really. I mean, it's like, you know, the other night I was driving back from dinner with Ariana driving. I'm like, okay, pull back. Okay. You know, anyone who's a parent knows about their kids driving. I never, ever thought I'd be like that. But it's the same way with some of the younger people here. I just say, you know what? Let me drive. You just tell me what's going on. I'll drive, okay?
It all meshes with that Scott Brown independent thing. Brown says his independent streak is helping him to move Washington forward since he arrived back in February, and everyone seems to want a piece of it.
Scott Brown's just at the beginning, but I hope I get to work with him a lot.
He really brings a nice dimension to the discussions.
Can you really fix Washington, though? Because everybody thinks they can, and then they get here and realize that's not possible.
Well, if that's the case, then we might as well get out.
Because everyone's sort of listening to hanging on your
every
word.
Single word.
Do you feel a lot of pressure in that regard?
Of course I feel pressure.
A little anxiety sometimes?
I don't know about anxiety, but I just try to be prepared.
The preparation usually begins with a morning workout.
I get up at like 5 and jump in the gym and go for a run, and I'm done by 7. We'll go out and run around the mall, around the Washington Mall. It's about 5 miles from here.
There are morning briefings, meetings, hearings, and on this day, an early trip to Walter Reed Army Medical Center.
It was powerful. I mean, just powerful. But there's one soldier in particular. He lost his legs and his arms, and he was there working out, doing stomach crunches, and I'm like, man, you know, I just went over and I said, listen, thank you so much for everything. You've given the ultimate sacrifice. And he was like, hey, it's my honor to do it.
Then it was back to his office for some rare alone time. Until the midterm elections, Brown is working out of the late Ted Kennedy's office. Though Brown's daughter, Ariana, has redecorated, Kennedy's presence can still be felt. A photo hangs prominently in the conference room. His memoir is on the coffee table. What's it like to be occupying Ted Kennedy's office?
A lot of people come by and say, how's it feel to be in the people's office? And I say, it's great. It's an honor to be here. Kennedy
wouldn't have voted for Brown, but he would likely approve of Brown's approach of reaching across the aisle to get things done.
He and I worked on an amendment to the financial regulatory reform bill.
Scott and I worked together on an amendment for the financial services bill.
And here it's like, oh my God, you're working with the Democrats, or you're working, the Democrats are saying, you're working with those mean Republicans, and I think that's like ridiculous. We actually had a wonderful event with the wives the other night, and everybody was together. And I was with Chuck Schumer, and there was 2 Democrats, 2 Republican spouses there. And that carried over into the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, that we've all been working together. And I've just been saying, is this how it always is? It's like, no, this is like incredible. This is so different. This is amazing.
It's hard to find a senator, Republican or Democrat, who hasn't met Scott Brown. In fact, Brown has already worked with many of them. Unusual for a freshman, just 3 months on the job.
He's definitely landed with both feet on the ground, and he's having an impact. He speaks up regularly and makes very excellent points.
What has propelled you or given you the confidence to sort of speak your mind?
Well, actually, I just try to be myself. I know the issue. I've done my homework.
In last week's financial reform bill alone, he had 25 amendments co-sponsored with Democrats and Republicans. At least 7 of those amendments passed. So obviously that's unusual for a freshman senator.
Yeah,
I mean, are you getting this play because you're Scott Brown and people feel like they need to listen to what you have to say?
No, I think they just like the fact that there's someone new and energetic and excited to be here and kind of looking at it a little bit differently.
He's
had a very careful balancing act between working for the people of Massachusetts and at the same time being a player on the national stage.
Senator John McCain got to know Brown when Brown endorsed him in his presidential bids. McCain returned the favor by being an early supporter when Brown was 30 points down in the polls.
Are you advising him?
Nobody advises Scott Brown.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not true. With all due respect, he's being modest. I ask him regularly for guidance. I just asked him about the authorization process when it comes to our military authorizations coming up to make sure that I don't misstep.
What I should have said, he does not need advice.
Brown shows an interesting mix of self-deprecation on the one hand and self-promotion on the other.
A lot of my ideas have been adopted and worked through and incorporated into the messaging and also in the effort to kind of solve problems.
He seems not the least bit intimidated by Senate leadership. Take this brush he had last week with Democrat Harry Reid.
The other day I was on the floor and I said to the majority leader, first of all, he says, Scott, I haven't seen you in a while. How come you haven't, called me? I say, how come you haven't called me?
Call it cocky or call it confidence, it's helped put Brown on the list of Republican presidential hopefuls, a notion Brown laughs off.
Here's an idea that some Republicans are not laughing off. Vice presidential candidate in 2012.
I have no interest in doing anything except getting reelected to this position right now, period.